So, judging by the title of this video, you're probably like, yo, what? And it looks that way, but let me explain, because it's an interesting story, and I'm excited to tell it today. Today's the story of how I smoked with a cop. Yeah, leave a like if you enjoy, let's get into it. So, today's story time all starts off when I was 21 years old. About a few months after I turned 21, so I think it was like December, January when this took place. I was in my little office room, I was working on a video, and also writing music, and this was before I even put out music, but I was still working on it in secret, essentially. Yeah, and while I was sitting in there, just, grinding my stuff, I got a text message from my homie Jake, and I've talked about Jake on this channel a couple times. Obviously, I've given him different names in story times because I never want to use his real name, but Jake had a police officer as a father. Yeah, his dad was a cop. He had been a cop for like 20-something years. And the funniest thing about this, and the most ironic thing about this, is Jake was probably one of my like most shithead friends. You know what I mean? Like he was always getting into trouble, always like doing stuff that he wasn't supposed to do. And that definitely included like smoking weed and, like sneaking beer in the house and stuff that you're just not supposed to do, right? And his dad, being a cop, always was way more strict than any of our parents. So when he'd get caught, he would get grounded and like his phone would get taken away for like 6 months at a time. It was bad. So anyway, Jake hits me up on this day, right? And he's like, yo, what are you doing? And I was like, not shit, dude. Just working on a video and some music stuff. And he was like, you want to come hang out later? And I was like, yeah, dude, of course. When do you want me to pull up? He's like, how about like 2 hours? I was like, okay. So 2 hours later, I Ubered over to Jake's house because at the time I did not drive at all and I had no car or anything like that. So I Ubered over to his house, got inside. It was just me and him there. His parents weren't home. And like 5 minutes after I got there, Jake was like, yo, you want to smoke? And around this time, I didn't smoke at all. I didn't smoke weed. I didn't vape. I didn't do any of the shit that people probably expected me to do back then. And I was like, I'll take a hit. He's like, all right, cool. So Jake goes upstairs, comes back downstairs with his little bong set up and his weed, and we go out in the backyard, and he had this nice back porch, and we start smoking. And I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, when does his dad get home? Because even though Jake was an adult at this point and, could make his own decisions, his dad still did not tolerate weed in the house at all or anywhere near the house because he was a cop, and he was like, oh, it's illegal. So I asked Jake, I was like, Jake, when's your dad getting home? Because, like, if he catches us, we're fucked. And he's like, I think like an hour from now. And I was like, are you sure? Because like, I'm not trying to get caught, bro. Last time your dad caught us, he freaked out on both of us. And he's like, nah, bro, don't worry. Like, he won't be home for a while. And even if he did come home, like, I'm an adult now. He won't care. And I'm like, bro, you've been an adult for like 3 or 4 years now. And that never stopped him from completely taking away everything you own in this house and grounding your ass as an adult. And he's like, yeah, but now I'm 21. It's different. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, bro, I swear. And we just got back to smoking after that. I didn't think much of it, didn't really question it because, it's Jake and he knows his life better than I do. So I didn't really want to challenge him on that. And then, of course, 10 minutes later, I hear a car pull in the driveway. We were in the backyard, so like it was very faint, but I could definitely hear a car pulling in the driveway. So I looked over at Jake and I was like, yo, I think your dad's home. And he's like, nah, he doesn't get home for like another 30 minutes. We're good. I'm like, bro, I think he's home. And looking back, this feels so weird because I was literally 21, right? Like I didn't have to worry about this stuff anymore. This is stuff that I worried about when I was like 16. And a few minutes later, I heard footsteps coming in the backyard, coming around the house. Sure enough, it was good old Jake's dad. And he goes, what are you boys doing back here? And I was like, just hanging out. He's like, you don't have to lie to me anymore, Austin. You're not 16 anymore. And I just like nervously laughed. And then Jake's like, yeah, Dad, sorry, we're smoking. And then Jake's dad says something that I did not expect in the slightest, and I don't think anybody's going to expect. He goes, without me? Just before I go any further, this guy, my entire teenage youth years, was like the fucking boogeyman, okay? Like as a teenager, every friend and everybody feared this man because he was so strict and so scary because he was a police officer. So when your friend's dad, who's also a police officer, walks in on a smoke sesh years later and you say, hey, sorry, I'm smoking, and he goes, without me? You feel like you're getting trolled a little bit. So naturally, my response was, are you fucking with me? Because I really thought like him and Jake were playing a prank on me. And he goes, no. And he steps up on the porch, takes the bong out of Jake's hand, lights it up, and starts ripping it right in front of both of us. And I look at Jake, and he has the stupidest smile on his face. And he goes, guess what? And I was like, what? And he goes, guess. And I was like, no. And then Jake's dad puts the bong down, and he goes, we got your ass. And I was like, are you guys both, like, trolling me right now? Like, what is this? And Jake's like, yeah, dude, my dad's retiring next week, and he can smoke now, so we wanted to play a little prank on you and have his first ever smoke sesh be with you and me. And I was like, are you serious? And his dad's like, yeah, I'm retiring next Friday. And I was like, holy shit, congrats, and also fuck you for that prank. And he starts laughing. He's like, I figured after all these years of being the strict parent and the bad cop, it's finally time to be the good cop. And he starts laughing again. And that sentence felt like some shit from out of a movie or something. It was really, really, like, wild to hear from him. And I was just like, yeah, I mean, that's a good way to put it. And he's like, yeah, anyway, your turn. And he passes it to me. Keep in mind, I said I was only going to take one hit, and I had already taken that one hit with Jake. So now it's like, okay, am I going to take a second hit? And I'm like, you know what? I gotta, dude. It's a cop. Like, the story calls for it. So yeah, needless to say, I took the hit, and then I took like 2 more because he kept passing it to me, and I couldn't say no. And yeah, it was just truly a crazy day, and also like unbelievable, because this dude was still a cop, which is crazy to me. But he retired. He got out of that job like a week later, and he ended up becoming a really chill dude. And I wish I could, show you guys what he was like before this, because he was literally the scariest individual ever. But, he's very chill now, and I'm happy for Jake, because Jake finally gets to relax and not have to worry about his dad, like, grounding him for years on end every time he catches him doing anything remotely bad. So that's good. I guess if there's a moral to this story, it's that, people definitely change. If someone in your eyes is really strict or mean or like, not someone who you like very much, you might love them in like 10 years. Who knows? But yeah, that dude is super cool now. I definitely have a lot of story times from my past that involve him when he was a lot more strict. So if you want to hear another story like tomorrow or the next day about this guy and how he used to be a total, strict motherfucker, drop a comment and I will tell one of those stories sometime soon. But, yeah, guys, that's pretty much the end of the story time. That is the story of how I got to not only smoke with a cop, but my friend's dad became a retired happy man. So, yeah, definitely a happy ending, if I do say so myself. But, yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this story time. If you did, you already know, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below, and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys all later. Peace.
I be fully loaded, I be whipping foreign cars. Always stay devoted,